welcome to episode 3 of SkuBowl, where our goal, if you've watched the previous episodes, is to help you run a better, more efficient, more streamlined warehouse operation. So today you're going to hear from Bill Peden on all things warehouse layout. Now, it's a pretty straightforward topic, but it's absolutely critical to get this right. So we're going to be covering why it matters, why it's just as important for your employees as well as your customers. And then Bill's going to run through some best practices and areas of your warehouse to really kind of optimize that process. So, Bill, welcome to SkuBowl.
Thanks for having me.
Let's dig right into it. First question: why does warehouse layout matter? Let's say I've been operating in my own way just fine up to now. I'm growing, and yes, I'm not perfect. I'm a bit disorganized. I don't have 100% stock visibility, but I've been doing all right. And I want to keep on growing, but why can't I keep doing it my way?
Sure. So in my opinion, warehouse layout matters more and more as a business matures. So I've kind of a broken record about this, but when a business is small, problems are small. The ability to react to problems or challenges, pivot, it's crucial, it's helpful. But in order to grow, you have to switch from that reactive, light on your feet to being proactive, to really planning ahead and anticipating what's coming. Because when you're small, the problems are small, but as you grow, those problems grow with you. So really what we're talking about here is setting yourself up for success, investing in the time and energy to lay out your warehouse appropriately so that you know exactly what you have, where it's located, and how many you can expect to find there. If you think about it, I'm a small business, I've got 20, 30 orders that I'm dealing with a day. I can't find that last box of packaging materials. I know I've got it, I ordered it, but I can't find it. Not a big deal. Just run to the store, grab a couple extra things, and, keep going on with the day. Scale it up, you're doing 200-300 orders a day. That's impossible. That throws a whole wrench in your production. You're having to order a lot more stuff. It could take you days, if not weeks, to get more. So what we're really encouraging with investing in the time of setting up your warehouse to the best of your ability, what you're really doing is you're setting yourself up for the growth that you're looking for in the months and years to come.
So it's easy to talk about the customers when we're talking about warehouse layout and how an optimal warehouse layout affects them. For example, speed of deliveries and that sort of thing. But how does a good warehouse layout affect the people in the warehouse, the pickers, the packers, your warehouse managers, the employees of the company? And why is that important?
Absolutely. So, to your point, having a dedicated warehouse layout just opens up a ton of opportunities when it comes to increasing efficiency. Just on a practical level, you don't have people walking over each other as much, causing less confusion. On a practical but a really important level, it saves a ton of steps. If you're not having to retrace and go back and forth to the same spot over and over again, it's keeping your energy up. When you're tired, excuse me, when you're tired, you're prone to make more mistakes. Those mispicks, those misships are going to happen more often, which to your point, back to the customers, that's when you start dealing with your brand and its recognition. It's kind of the temperature out in the world. People like you, people don't. As far as pickers, packers, managers, what it's going to do is it's going to increase organization. So making their job easier and more, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what to expect. You know exactly what you got, where it's located. So that way, you feel like you're doing a good job. You're keeping your upper management happy because you're fulfilling more orders. You're doing it more accurately. I think overall, it just provides an environment that is going to just be overall more positive, in my opinion.
Now, what about how does a well-designed warehouse layout translate into product availability on a website or a web store, for example? And, I suppose thinking about things like if a product's out of stock, for example.
Earlier, we used an example about packaging materials. Let's take that same example and use it with your actual products. If there's a disconnect between what's actually in the warehouse versus what's on the website, then you're just that just opens up so many possibilities for customers to be mad. If you don't know what you have, you don't know what you can sell. And so ultimately what we're trying to provide, with the WMS, with all of these different tools, right? Because a warehouse layout is a tool in the toolbox, or a schema, just like a WMS is, or an IMS, or a shipping solution. All of these are arrows in the quiver to help your business grow and be successful. So, at the end of the day, what we're striving towards is inventory integrity, so that you know what you got and your customers do too. I've seen a number of businesses, what they have to do is they can't put their actual inventory quantities on the website because they don't know what it is. They know they ordered, 300 units of this thing. They can only find 100. There are 200 missing in the warehouse because it's just a mess. So you can't say on the website, I've got 300 available. You just have to say, I have this available, and hope you can find it. And that just, again, that's where we just find so many businesses, if they're not taking the time early on to incorporate that organization and best practices, then it just kind of leaves the door wide open for a lot of headache later on down the line.
Yeah, and just kind of digging into that a bit more, like what does that ripple effect look like in terms of, you're not having just that disconnect? How can that impact a business later down the line?
So couple of things jump into my mind. The first one's dead stock. So you could have tons of product that you could sell, but you don't know it exists because you don't have that organization in your warehouse. And either the organization physically in your warehouse from row to row, shelf to shelf, or in some kind of, organization manager, whether that's, if you're, still new to this, you might be on spreadsheets. If you're growing, you might be using a WMS or IMS. If you don't have that organization, if you don't know what you have to sell, then you can't sell it. So number one is dead stock. Number two, to our point earlier, if we're just saying stuff's available when it's really not, then we've got unhappy customers. We're not going to have repeat buyers, which is, we all know, are some of our best, streams of revenue is repeat customers. That's what we want to have. And so ultimately, as the ripple goes further and further away, you see that touching on more and more areas of your business, which just can be a sink or swim type of a thing. If we're leaving money on the table because we don't know what we have to sell, that's a problem. If we're selling stuff we don't actually have, leading to unhappy customers, that's also a problem.
Right. So let's run through some best practices, just some specifics, and in terms of around warehouse layout and how these translate into opportunities for businesses.
I've worked with a ton of in my current role, I was onboarding new clients with our software. Gotten to go to a number of warehouses, help get those laid out or set up. And some of the things that I've seen, number one, is having dedicated picking locations, and also simultaneously having dedicated backstock locations. So what do I mean by that? If we've just got, let's say we get a brand new product in, our customers are so excited about purchasing it, but the only natural place we have to put it is way up high on a shelf. Well, maybe we've got to get a ladder to get that, or a forklift, something like that. That's inefficient. We need to have a dedicated area for our fast moving products or our brand new products. Being able to bifurcate or separate, that which is going to be sold regularly from those that might be sold a little less commonly, and making sure that our layout matches or mirrors that. So we want the fast moving items to be located right next to the packing station, so that's really quick. We can get there, very efficiently. If we know a number of products are sold together, we want those grouped together close by, so that way we're able to just again, more efficiently get those orders processed. And then a couple of other things. When it comes to backstock, for example, using those very top high to reach places for the overstock or back of the warehouse, leveraging those areas for pallets rather than those areas closest to where we're processing orders. Another big one that I like to bring out. So by creating a dedicated warehouse layout for your space, and every business is different. So some businesses, they need to get super, super specific. Maybe they've got really small products that are easy to kind of jumble up, so that we can go like from the aisle to the rack to the shelf, all the way down into a specific bin. Some other businesses, they might have bigger products. They can't go down to a bin level. They just need to go down to the shelf. either way, we just want, a warehouse layout that's going to be easily understood by your employees. And to that end, what I always recommend, if possible, is instituting something like wave picking for a fulfillment process, right? So where tons of our customers are at is they're picking order by order individually. They're retracing their ship steps over and over. Say they've got a hot item that's being sold, and it's practically being sold in every order. Well, they're walking back to that same location each time, wasting a ton of steps, wasting a ton of time. Where if we were using something like wave picking, we're picking multiple different orders at the same time. And that just allows us to do this accurately if we've got that dedicated warehouse layout, and it allows us to do it efficiently. Another best practice that I've seen instituted is the adoption of zones. So splitting the warehouse into different areas based on product type, product size, whatever makes the most sense for your business. But that way, if we're split the warehouse into zones, we can organize our orders based on zones. And again, not have pickers walking over each other. We know that we're working on tons of different orders simultaneously in the most efficient way. Making our customers happy, making our employees happy, and the ripple effect is seen. Final thing I'd note here in terms of the packing area, when it comes to warehouse layout, again, those fastest movers, those most commonly sold items, keeping them close by, but then also a great practice to institute to help prevent those misships and those mispicks that we commonly see as a result of this inefficient warehouse layout is going to be instituting a quality control step. So having that final piece, being able to not only check what product is going with this order, but knowing exactly where it came from. So that way our WMS or our website or our spreadsheet, whatever, is accurately reflecting the number of units we have for sale for any given item. All of those, I would say, kind of fall under this umbrella of warehouse layout and trying to make things more efficient and keeping that inventory accurate.
Lots of great stuff there, Bill. Appreciate that. Okay, and then just last question. Is there anything else, any other final tips that you can think of that would be useful to people watching when it comes to warehouse layout?
Yes, start now. I think that, like we've seen here, maybe you get a brand new space, you do this warehouse layout, and you got it all set up. You're like, great, okay, cool. Never going to think about that again. Well, if your business keeps growing, then we need to Number one, start now. Number two, update regularly. So whether it's monthly or quarterly, okay, what products have sold the best in the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Cool. Maybe we should switch around some of the products. Maybe X, Y, and Z product need to be closer to the packing station because that one's been selling a lot more recently. So getting organized as quickly as you can, and then making sure to use that data that we get from your tech stack or whatever kind of in softwares you've invested in for your business, using the data that we're getting from those to regularly update the space to ensure that we're maintaining that inventory integrity and keeping things as efficient as we can as we grow.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that's everything. I appreciate you coming on, Bill, and answering these questions. It's been incredibly insightful.
Good. Happy to. Thanks so much.
Okay. And for the rest of you, we'll be back for one more episode of SkuBowl next week. So make sure to stay tuned. We'll see you next time.